This is a demonstration for 358 student practice. Keyplate. We start our Onshape drawing. Remember to name it period number, last first, drawing number. Then share it with me. So to start this drawing, we're going to first draw and constrain in dimension 11 circles. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 easy ones. Then we see 6, 7, and then 8, 9, 10, 11 for the corners. Notice how all these 6 here are equal. We'll use that to our advantage. And we're going to put the origin at the center of our drawing. I'll start on the top plane, new sketch, and then hide my work planes. View from the top. So I'm going to start by drawing that 3-inch diameter circle in the center. Click circle, click to start it, click to end it, type in 3. Then I know I have 3 circles on each side, and I don't necessarily need to know exactly where they start to draw them. 1, 2, 3, and it doesn't even matter if they're off center or anything. So first we saw that they were 3/4 drill, 4 holes, and then these are 3/4 slots. So I click dimension one of them, 3 divided by 4, enter, and then I can set the rest equal using my equal constraint. So dimension circle and dimension circle, and then I can just continue clicking around my drawing till all 6 are equal. And you know that works by being able to adjust the size of one. For example, if I change to 1.5 or 0.15, they all change. And let me undo that because I don't want to keep that. Now, I know from my diagram, these 3 circles are vertical, and these 2 circles, each set of 2 circles is horizontal. So I can use my horizontal and vertical constraints for that. So vertical, center of circle A to center of circle B, and center of circle B to center of circle C. Again, A to B, B to C. And I can always test that by moving one set of circles and seeing that while I can move them up and down, I can't move them side to side to separate them. Now I can change to a horizontal constraint and set the top 2 circles horizontal to each other. I can set the center 2 circles horizontal to the main center circle. Then I can set the bottom 2 circles horizontal to each other. Once I'm done with the horizontal constraint, I can click it again to turn it off. Now I can see that from the center to the circles is going to be 2.5, and the circles are 1 1/4 down from the center. So I'll dimension those next. So I can say dimension, click my center circle, and I'm going to click one of my side circles, and that's not the dimension I want. So sometimes when that happens, you may need to escape dimension and click it again. I think I might have a dimension feature turned on I don't like. If you don't want to click the circle, you can always just try clicking the origin of the two circles. So we said this is 2.5 or 2 1/2. So to type 2 1/2, it's going to be 2 plus 1/2. And then the picture had it from one circle all the way over to the other circle as 5. Then we can do the same thing again. We know from the total distance across both circles was 2 1/2. And the distance between two circles was 1 1/4. Alright. Now I can draw these outer circles. That'll end up making the boundary. And instead of drawing a rectangle around our shape and then trying to fit it, it makes more sense to do the circles because they're set at a radius of 1. So I'll draw all 4 circles first, set them equal. Oops. A to B, B to C, C to D. And I don't even have to dimension them yet, because we'll do that in just a minute. Now I can connect my tangent lines for the outside of my shape and the horizontal slot. So I'm going to say line. I'll do the slot first, so I'm just going to, I know it starts somewhere on the top of this circle and ends up connecting somewhere on the top of this circle. If I need to end my command, I can hit escape, and then if I want to start line again, I can hit L on my keyboard. Again, it goes from somewhere on the bottom of the circle to somewhere on the top of the circle. If you're careful, you can zoom in, and as you hover over, you'll see the constraint icon change from coincident to tangent. If I click at that point, it actually makes it tangent. Sometimes though I miss that, so I like to go and do the tangent separately. So click tangent, and we click the circle, and then the line. I can pan over, circle, line, circle, line. And it turned to black because it already had made that one constraint tangent. I don't need to trim the inside of this. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the outside. I know that I have a line that goes from the top of one circle to the top of the next circle. And then down the sides. And sometimes I like to exaggerate how far off it is, so I know I can make it tangent. Sometimes if I'm not careful, I think it's tangent when it actually isn't. So it always is good to exaggerate a little bit and then make sure you use the constraint to double check. So tangent, circle, line, circle, line, circle, line. You can go line, circle too if you'd like, it doesn't matter. Circle, line. And you know you've done it right, because now if I adjust the outer edge, all the shape sizes change, remaining, so, and all the tangencies still remain. Now I can go in and dimension the outer circle, and notice it showed up as a diameter, and the book gives us a radius, so we want to make sure we change that. If it's a radius of 1, my diameter would be 2 times that, so we can actually say 2 times 1. If you don't want to try and do the math, of course that's easier for this case, but as we get more complex, the formulas become necessary. And enter, and it calculates it for you. Now I don't have to actually trim these out. I could if I wanted to, but they're really not in the way, which we'll see later. Last step is draw a vertical rectangle and then constrain it and dimension. So I know I have a vertical rectangle representing some form of slot here in the middle. And I know I want to tie the center of the rectangle to the center of my drawing, so I can use the point tool to do that. So point, I can put a midpoint at the middle of my rectangle on the top edge, and at the middle of my rectangle on the midpoint on the side. And then I can tie those to my center using horizontal and vertical. So I'll choose my vertical constraint, midpoint of the top line to the center of the circle. Give it a chance to catch up. I might have to try clicking them in the other order. Origin, then center. There it goes. And I know it worked because I can hit escape and then try and change the shape of the rectangle, and I can see it automatically stays symmetric about the center. They can tell the other one, oh, it must have snapped the other one on accident. I didn't mean to do that. If you didn't do it, then go double check and use the horizontal constraint, midpoint to center. And now I can see it's symmetric. And so now I can go back and look at my dimensions. I see it's 3/4 of an inch wide, and the intersection, oops, from where the top of the rectangle is to where it hits the circle is going to be 3/8. So first I'll make it 3/4 wide. So I can do that by clicking dimension, and I can either click this top line and drag up, or I can click the 2 side lines and drag up, and it's a more accurate dimension because it's going from edge to edge instead of from point to point. And that was 3/4. And then we said, zoom in here, it was 3/4 or 3/8 from this intersection to the top. Well, I can't dimension from this top line to the intersection. It won't let me click it. However, it will let me put a point at an intersection. And notice that point is black because it's constrained to where these 2 lines meet. So now I can dimension to that. So from the top line to where my point is, and I can make that 3/8. And since my rectangle was symmetric, it auto-dimensioned down here as well. So now it says to extrude 1/2 inch. Notice I have lots of lines in here. I can leave those in here as long as I'm careful what I click. Extrude. Wow. Onshape tried to figure out what I wanted to extrude automatically, and it got pretty much right. If it didn't get it right, you could always click the parts you thought it got wrong. I often suspect it'll get some of this stuff wrong depending on how you click. And so if you need to, you click the parts to turn them off and on as needed. Zooming in and out as you need to make sure you click the right areas. And so it looks like I've got all the parts selected correctly, and I said I wanted to make it a 1/2 inch, so 1/2, enter. And we'll click OK. Now look at an isometric, and it should look like your picture. And if you did it right, it should have a volume of 9.663 inches and 61.975 surface area. Thanks for watching.